Welcome. Imagine being torn from your homeland, your name stripped away, your language silenced, and yet your hands would go on to build an entire nation. This is not just a story about slavery. This is the story of how millions of Africans crossed the Atlantic and shaped Brazil, its culture, its economy, its music, its soul. Tonight, we travel back in time. Before the ships, before the chains. Africa was alive with kingdoms, knowledge, and culture. Men and women came from powerful societies like the Yoruba, Bantu, Fon, Congo, and Mandinka peoples. They were farmers, blacksmiths, spiritual leaders, warriors, builders, and traders. Some lived near rivers, others in forests or savannas. They had families, names, gods, songs. Then came betrayal. Through war, raids, and European-backed trade, people were captured and sold into slavery. Their journey had begun, but not by choice. Captured Africans were forced to walk hundreds of miles to the coast. Those who collapsed were left behind. Those who resisted were beaten. Those who survived were locked inside slave forts, dark, airless prisons like Elmina and Ouida. For weeks, sometimes months, they waited. Waiting for ships that would take them across an ocean they had never seen. When the ships arrived, the real horror began. Men, women, and children were packed into wooden ships like cargo. Chained. Starving. Sick. The Atlantic crossing, known as the Middle Passage, lasted up to 3 months. Disease spread fast. Rebellion was punished with death. Many were thrown into the ocean. Historians estimate over 4.8 million Africans were taken to Brazil, more than any other country in the Americas. Not all survived the journey. But those who did, arrived forever changed. The ships docked in places like Salvador, Rio de Janeiro, and Recife. Survivors were sold in markets. Families separated in seconds. In Brazil, Africans were forced into brutal labor. Sugar plantations. Gold and diamond mines. Coffee farms. Construction of cities, ports, and roads. Brazil's wealth was built on African blood, sweat, and skill. But Africans did more than labor. They rebuilt their identity. African slaves shaped Brazil in ways still visible today. Hindu temple architecture, Africans built churches, cities, and infrastructure. Drum music, samba, maracatu, and drumming traditions. Martial arts uniform capoeira, a martial art disguised as dance. Pata food, feijoada, acarage, dandoyo. Candle religion, candomblé and Afro-Brazilian spirituality. Even under oppression, Africans resisted. Some escaped and formed free communities called quilombos, the most famous being Quilombo dos Palmares, which stood for nearly a century. Freedom was never abandoned, it was fought for. Slavery in Brazil officially ended in 1888, the last country in the Americas to abolish it. But the African legacy never disappeared. Today, Brazil has the largest African-descended population outside Africa. Every drumbeat, every dance, every prayer, carries the memory of those who crossed the ocean in chains, but refused to lose their soul. They tried to erase their names. They tried to break their spirits. But Africa survived. In Brazil's rhythm, resilience, and resistance. This is not just history. This is inheritance. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe to keep these forgotten histories alive. Because when we remember them, they are never truly gone.